putting to shame by their comeliness. Millions of people tell us of Fair Lady, how stand they to you, wearing their loving and the sweet words. Sita felt abashed and smiled within herself. Looking at them in the first instant, she then cast her eyes towards the earth. The fair complexioned lady felt a twofold delicacy. Yet her voice sweet as a note of the cuckoo, the fond eyed princess bashfully replied in the loving and the sweet accent. The one who is artless in manner and has a fair and a graceful form is called Lakshmana and is my younger brother-in-law. Again wheeling her moon-like face with an end of her sari, she looked at her beloved lord, and then bending her eyebrow and casting a sidelong glance with her beautiful eyes that resembled the khazana birds, the species of the wagtail in their quick movement, she indicated to them by signs that he was her husband. All the village women were as delighted as pauper that has been allowed free access to the homes of the richest, for falling at Sita's feet in their great love, they invoked upon her many blessings, invoked upon them many blessings. Blessing means what do you mean by the blessings? God favor and protection is called blessing. God favor and protection is called blessings. God favor and the protection is called the blessings. God favor and protection is called the blessing. God's favor and protection is called the blessings, and said, "May you ever enjoy happy married life." Happy. What do you mean by the happy? Happy means happy. Happy married life. Happy means happy married life. Feeling or showing pleasure or contentment is called the happy. Feeling or showing pleasure and contentment is called the happy. Feeling or showing pleasure or contentment is called the happy. Feeling or showing pleasure and contentment is called the happy. Feeling or showing pleasure and contentment is called the happy. Feeling or showing pleasure and contentment is the emotional state of satisfaction is called the happy. Contentment is the emotional state of satisfaction is called the happy. Emotional state of satisfaction is called the happy. Emotional state of satisfaction is called the happy. Emotional state of satisfaction is called happy. Containment in an emotional state of satisfaction that can seen as a mental state drawn from being easy ease in one situation is called happy. Ease in one situation, body and mind is called the containment. Happy and containment, happy emotional state of satisfaction is called the happy married life, so long as the earth rests on the head of the serpent god. Uh, be as dear to your Lord as Parvati to Shiva. Dear. Dear means what do you mean by the dear? Dear means regard with deep affection is expensive is called dear. Regarded with deep affection 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 is called dear. Be as dear to your Lord. Lord, a man of noble rank or high office, a nobleman, a man of noble rank. Used in extremity, expression surprise or worry for, and use an exclamation expressing surprise or worry. Act in superior and domineering manner towards someone is called the Lord. Act is a act in a superior and dominating manner towards someone is called a lord. Be as dear to your lord, O Parvati, yet cease not to be kind to us, O good lady. Again and again we pray with the joint palm. Should you return by this very route, allow us to see you, remembering us your handmaid, remembering what do you mean by remembering us your handmaid, having able to bring in one's mind or awareness of is called a remembering. Having be able to bring one's mind or awareness of someone or something from the past is called the remembering. Have in or able to bring to one's minds or awareness is called a remembering. As your handmaid Sita found them all obsessed with love and comforted them with many soothing words, even as lilies are refreshed by moonlight. Presently reading ShriRam's mind, Lakshmana gently asked the village about the road they should take. The moment they heard this, the villagers, both man and the woman, become sad. A chill ran through their body and tears rushed to their eyes. Their joy disappeared. They felt depressed at heart, as though God was snatching back the treasure He had bestowed upon them. Reflecting on the ways the fate, they took courage and fixing upon the easiest road, they gave it out to him. Accompanied by the Lakshmana and the Janka's daughter, the Lord of Raghu then proceeded on his way. As people tried to follow him, he sent back all with soothing words, so he took their hearts with him. While returning to their homes, the villagers, men and women alike, grievously lamented and blamed Providence in their heart. Providence means Providence. Providence means Providence is Providence. Providence. Blame Providence means a protective care of God and nature as a spiritual power. Spiritual power, the protective care of the God or nature as a spiritual power. The protective care of God or nature as a protective power. Timely preparation for future eventuality is called the timely preparation for the future eventuality. Providence in their heart. In doleful assent said to one another, the Creator's doings are all perverse. He is absolutely uncontrollable, heartless, and remorseless. He is absolutely uncontrollable. Uncontrollable means uncontrollable. Uncontrollable means not controllable. Uncontrollable, heartless, and remorseless. Remorseless means without regret or guilt. Without regret or guilt. Remorseless. Without regret or guilt. Never ending or improving. Relentless. Never ending or improving. Relentless. It is he who made the moon sticky, remorseless, without regret or guilt, without regret or guilt. It is he who made the moons sickly means what do you mean by sickly? Sickly means often ill, in poor health. Sickly means often ill or poor health. Often ill or poor health is called a sickly. Often ill in poor health is called the sickly. Often ill or in poor health is called the sickly. Often ill in poor health is called the sickly. And disfigured it with the dark patches. Often in or poor in health, and disfigured it with a dark patch. Again, disfigured it with a dark patch, dark patch, dark patch, dark patch. Dark patch. Dark means dark patch. With little no light is called the dark. With little no light is called the dark. With little or no light is called the dark. Not reflecting much light. Not reflecting much light is called dark. Not reflecting much light is called the dark. Dark patch. Again, it is he who made the wish shield into a member of the vegetable kingdom. Again, it is he who made the wish shield into a member of the vegetable kingdom. Member of the vegetable. Vegetable means vegetable kingdom. Member of the vegetable kingdoms. Vegetable. Vegetable is a plant, a part of the plant used as food, such as cabbage, potato, or bean. A person with a dull or inactive life is called a vegetable. A person with dull or inactive life is called the vegetable. Adjective relating to plants or plant life, especially distinct from the animal life or mineral substance. Any plant and plant life or mineral substance, especially as distinct from the animal life or mineral substance. Vegetable kingdom and disfigured a dark patch. Again, he is a wish shield into a member of the vegetable kingdom. And the ocean salt. It is the same creator who has seen these princes into the wood. If he has chosen the forest as a fit abode for them, in vain has he provided luxuries and the enjoyment. In vain he has provided vain. V-A-I-N. Vain means producing no result, useless. Producing no result is called vain. No result is called vain. Producing no result is called vain. Useless. Producing no result is called vain. Producing no result is called vain. Useless. Producing no result is called vain. Useless. Producing no result is called vain. Useless. Producing no result is called vain. Useless is called vain. Having showing excessively high opinions of one appearance, ability, producing no result is called vain. Has he provided luxuries and the enjoyment? If they traverse the road barefooted, in vain has he created vehicles of the various kind. In vain has he created vehicles of the various kind. If they traverse the road barefooted, in vain has he created vehicles of the various kind. If they repose on the ground littered with grass and leaves, why does God take the trouble of making lovely beds? So why God take the trouble of making lovely God take trouble of making lovely beds. God take trouble of making lovely hell. God take trouble of making lovely beds. Why does if they repose in the ground littered with grass and leaves, if they repose the ground littered with grass and leaves, if they repose the ground littered with grass and leaves, why does God take the trouble of making lovely beds? Trouble. Trouble means difficult or problem. Difficulty or problem. Difficulty or problem is called the trouble. 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 Difficulty, public unrest or disorder is called trouble. Difficulty or problem is called trouble. Difficulty or problem to making lovely beds. If God has assigned them and abode in the shade of the umbrageous trees, in vain he has it taken. In vain. Vain means having or showing excessively high opinion of one's appearance, ability, or worth is called vain. Having or showing an excessively high opinion of one's appearance, ability, or worth is called vain. Having or showing excessively high opinion of one's appearance, ability, or worth is called vain. Producing no result or useless is called vain. Producing no result or useless is called vain. Producing no result or useless is called vain. Producing no result and useless is called vain. Producing no result and useless is called vain. Producing no result or useless is called vain. Has he taken pain to erect milk white palaces? They handsome and the most delicate boys are attired in the robes of the hermit and wear matted lock on hair. In vain has God created ornaments and the costumes of the various kinds. If they handsome and the most delicate boys are attired in the robes of the hermit, attired means be dressed in cloth of a specific kind is called attired. Be dressed in clothes of the specified kind is called attired. Be dressed in a cloth of the specified kind is called attired. Be dressed in a cloth of the specified kind is called attire. Be dressed in a cloth of the specified kind is called attire. Attire in the robes of the hermit. Attired. Robes. Robes means robes of the hermit. Robes means a long loose outer garment reaching to the ankles is called a robes. A long loose outer garment. Robes of the hermit reaching to the ankle. Robes of the hermit and wear mated locks on his hair. Mated locks on a mated means tangle into the thick mass. Mated lock tangle into the thick mass. It's called a mated. Tangle into a covered or provided with mats. Covered mated locks on their hair. In vain has God created ornaments and the costumes. Attired in the robes of the hermit and wear mated locks on the hair. In vain has God created ornaments and the costumes of the various kind. Ornaments and the costumes means ornaments and costume means set of cloth in a style typical of particular country or historical period. Dress in a particular set of clothes is called the costume. Dress in a particular set of clothes is called the costume. Dress in a particular set of clothes is called the costume. Dress in a particular set of clothes is called the costume. Costumes of the various kind. Various means costumes more than one, several, various costume and various kinds. If they live on the bulbs, roots, and the fruits alone, food such as ambrosia, food means what do you know? The food means any nutritious substance that people or animal eat or drink, or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and grow. Any nutritious substance that people or animal eats or drink, or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and grow is called the food. Any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink, or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and grow. Any nutritious substance that people or animal eat or drink, or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and grow. Foods such as ambrosia exist in male. Some people remark, naturally charming as they are, these princes must have appeared on the earth of their own accord and were not made by the आप प्रकट भय विधि न बनाए आप प्रकट भय विधि न बनाए आप प्रकट भय विधि न appeared on the earth in their own accord and not made by Vamana. In all the 14 spheres, ransack if you will the entire range of the God creation described at length in the Vedas as prescribed by the earth. Yours is in mind. Where can you find such a man and such a woman as this? At their very side, Brahma's mind got enough of these, and he proceeded to make the match. Make their match. He tried much, but none of his product could even approach the prototype. Prototype means prototype means prototype. Prototype means Prototype means a first preliminary version of device or vehicle from which other forms are developed. It's called the prototype. The first or preliminary version of the device or vehicle from which other forms are developed is called the prototype. And due to the jealousy, he has brought these princes to the woods and hid them. Others said, "We do not claim to know much, but account ourselves supremely blessed. They too are meritorious in our opinion. Who sees these princes or have seen them or shall see them?" Making such fond remarks, they filled their eyes with tears and added, "Most delicate of them, how shall they be able to traverse such an impassable road?" Overmastered by love, the woman felt as uneasy as the female Chakraka bird does at evening time, reflecting on the tender lotus-like feet of the princes and the rough road they were required to train. The woman said in polite phrase, with their hearts shared with deep feeling, "At the touch of this soft and rosy soul, the earth shrink even as our heart. If the Lord of the Universe chose to exile them into the wood, why did he not at the same time strew their path with flowers? If we can secure from the heaven the boon of our asking, let keep these princes of friends within the lids of our eyes. Those men and women who did not come in the time were unable to behold Sita and Rama. Hearing of their exquisite beauty, they anxiously asked, "How far, brother, must have they gone by now?" The stronger of them ran on and saw the princes and returned jubilant, attaining the end of their existence. Women, children, and the aged, however, wrung their hands and lamented. In this way, people were smitten with love wherever Sri Rama went. In every village there was similar rejoicing and the sight of the Sri Rama who was moved to the lily-like solar rays. Those who could get some information as to the circumstances that had led the Sri Rama's banishment blamed the king and the queen. Others said the king is too benevolent in that he has vouchsafed for us the reward of our eyes. Men and women talked among themselves in straight, loving, and the agreeable phrases. Blessed are the parents who gave birth to these princes, and happy is the town from which they beheld. Happy is the land, hill, forest, village, and every spot which they visit. Nay, the Creator must have felt happy in creating him who look upon these places as his near and dear ones. The delightful story as to how Sri Rama and Lakshmana travelled in the wood was broadcast all along the route and throughout the forest, thus bringing joy to the people of the roadside. Sri Rama, who was veritable son to the lotus-like solar rays, proceeded with Sita and Sumitra's son Lakshmana looking at the forest. Sri Rama walked in front while Lakshmana followed in the rear, both conspicuous in the robes of the ascetics. Between the two, Sita shone like Maya, the divine energy that stands between Brahma God on the one hand and that individual soul on the other. To illustrate her beauty as it exists in my mind in another way, she looked like literally the wife of the god of love, shining between Mother the spirit presiding over the Bandhan season and the god of love. Beating my brain from for another illustration, let me say she shone like Rohini between Buddha and the moon god. Sita trod on the path with meticulous care, planting her feet in the space between her lord's footprints, avoiding the footprints of the both Sita and Rama. Lakshmana traversed the road, always keeping them to his right. The ideal affection of Sri Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita was past telling. How can one describe it? Even birds and beasts were enraptured to behold their beauty. Their hearts were stolen by the Rama loving. Whoever saw the beloved travelers Sita and the two brothers Rama and Lakshmana joyfully reached the end of the toilsome journey of all of life without any exertion. Nay, to this the very day anyone is whose hearts the wayfarer Lakshmana, Sita and Rama should ever lodge even in a dream shall find the road leading to ShriRama's abode, the divine region known by the name of Saketa. The road that scares any android may find. Then perceiving that Sita was tired and seeing abandoned and cool water hard by, the hero of Raghunayan partook of birds, roots, and pools, and staying there overnight and bathing at dawn, the Lord of Raghu proceeded further, and beholding lovely woods, lakes, and hills, and Lord reached the hermitage of the Valmiki. Sri Rama saw the same beautiful valley with the charming hills and the forest, and its sacred water, the lotus of the ponds, and the trees in the woods were in blossoms, intoxicated with their honey. Bees sweetly hummed over them, birds and bees made a tremulous noise and moved about in joy, free from all animosities. The lotus-eyed Rama rejoiced to behold the scared and the lovely hermitage, and hearing of this arrival of the Sri Rama, the sage came forth to receive him. Srirama felt protest before the sages and the holy Brahman blessed him in return. The sight of the Srirama's beauty gladdened his eyes, and with due honor he took the Lord into the hermitage. Finding it guest as dear to him as life itself, the holy sage sent for the delicious birds, roots, and fruits. Sita, Lakshmana, and Rama partook of those foods, and the sages then assigned them beautiful quarters. Great was the joy of the Valmiki's heart as he beheld with his own eyes Sri Rama, who was bliss personified. Joining his lotus palm, the Lord of Raghu then spoke to him in the words which were delightful to the ears. You directly perceive everything relating to past, present, and future. O Lord of the saints, the whole universe is in a valley in your palm of your hand. Saying so, the Lord related to him the whole story as to how the Queen Kaikeyi has exiled him into the woods. Compliance with my father's commands, gratification of my stepmother Kaikeyi, the installation of the brother like Bhatta into the throne, and my seeing you, all this, my lord, is a result of my meritorious act. And beholding your feet, O feet, O King of saints, all my good deeds have been rewarded. Now I intend to go wherever you command me to go, and where no android may feel disturbed. For such monarchs as prove a source of the annoyance to hermit, and ascetics are consumed without fire, while the satisfaction of Brahmans is the root of happiness. Their wrath consumes millions of generations. Bearing this in mind, pray tell me a place to which I may proceed with Sita and Lakshmana, Sumantra's son, and building a charming hut of leaves and grass, may spend some time there. O good sir, hearing these clueless and the unsophisticated word of Sri Rama, the chief of Raghunayan, the enlightened sage exclaimed, quite so right you are. Why should you not speak thus, O glory of Raghunayan, ever busy as you are in maintaining the law laid down by the Vedas? Well, you are the custodian of the Vedic law and the Lord of the universe. Sita, Jinta's daughter, is your Maya, divine energy, who creates, preserves, and dissolves the universe. On receiving the tacit approval of your gracious self, as for Lakshmana, he is no other than the thousand-headed Shesha, the Lord of the serpent, the supporter of the globe, and the Lord of the entire creations, both animate and inanimate, having assumed the form of the king for the sake of the god. You are out to crush the host of the wicked demons. Your being, O Rama, is beyond the range of the speech and beyond conceptions, unknown, unutterable, and the infinite. The Vedas ever speak of it as not that, not that. The world is a spectacle and you are its spectator. You make even Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and the Shambhu, the destroyer, dance to your tune. Even these latter dance to your tune. Even these latter know not your secret. Who else can know you? In fact, he alone can know you, to whom you make yourself known, and the moment he knows you, he becomes one with you. It is by your grace, O delighter of the road, that your devotees come to know you. O comforter of the heart of the devotee, your body is all consciousness and bliss, and is devoid of changes. It is the competent alone who realize this. It is for the sake of the saints and gods that you have assumed the human semblance and speak and act even as worldly monarchs do. The stupid get puzzled while the wise feel delighted when they see or hear of your doing. All that you say or do is true. For one, should play in the role one has assumed on the stage. One play a role one has assumed on the stage. One play role one has assumed on the stage. Assume means take off on adopted sometimes falsely, adopted sometimes falsely, adopted as a basis of reasoning, expected, adopted. You ask me where should I take up my residence, but I ask you with diffidence. I ask you with diffidence. Ask you with diffidence. Ask you with diffidence. Diffidence means modesty or shyness resulting from lack of self-confidence is called a diffidence. Modesty or shyness resulting from lack of self-confidence is called a diffidence. Modesty or shyness resulting from the lack of self-confidence is called a diffidence. Tell me first the place where you are not. Then alone I can show you a suitable place. Tell me first the place where you are not. Then alone I can show you the suitable place. On hearing the sage's words imbued as they were with love, Sri Rama felt abashed and smiled within himself. Valmiki too smiled and spoke to him again in the word as sweet as though they were steeped in nectar. Listen, Rama, I tell you now the place where you should abide with Sita and Lakshmana. The heart of those whose ears are like the ocean, constantly replenished with the number of lovely streams in the shape of your stories, but no self-made shall be your charming abode. Just as a chatka always longs to see the rain clouds, disdaining all big rivers, oceans, and the lakes, and the rivers the only drops of the rain clouds. Similarly, those whose eyes are always lying to your beautiful vision, disdaining all worldly comforts, and always laid to the glimpse of your beauty in their heart that is comfortable to you to live in along with Lakshmana and Sita. Nay, you should dwell in the heart of him whose swan-like tongue took up pearls in the shape of your virtues, in the holy Mansava lake of your fame. Abide, O Rama, in the mind of those whose nose devoutly inhales every day the fragrance of the sacreds and the lovely offering in the shape of flowers, sandalwood, etc., made of made to their Lord yourself, who eat only that which has been offered to you, and put the cross and the ornament first dedicated to you, who had bowed down with submissively and lovingly the sight of the God, preceptor of Brahmans, whose hands adore Shri Rama's feet every day, who cherished in their heart with the Rama and none else, and whose feet take them to the holy place, sacred to Rama. Again, those who are ever engaging in muttering the Rama mantra, Shri Ramayana, the king of all sacred formula, and worship you along with your associates who offer water to the main and pour oblation to the sacred fire in diverse ways, who feed the Brahmins and the bestow liberal gifts on them, and who look upon their preceptor as greater than yourself, and wait upon him with due honor and entire devotion. And who having done all this ask only one rule as their reward, let me have devotion to Sri Rama's feet, and throne yourself in the temple of their heart, both Sita and the delighter of the Lord yourself. Those who have no lust, anger, arrogance, pride, or infatuation are without greed, excitement, attraction, or aversion, and who are free from fraud, hypocrisy, and deceit. It is in their heart that you should abide, reaching from the Raghu. Again, those who are beloved of all and friendly to all, to whom joy and sorrow, applause and abuses are alike, and who scrupulously utter truthful and the polite words, nay, who are present to you, whether awake or asleep, and who have no support other than yourself, it is in their mind, Rama, that you should dwell. Again, those who look upon another wife as their own mother, and to whom another's wealth is the deadliest of all poisons, who rejoice to see other prosperity, and are particularly grieved to see another distress, and to whom, O Rama, you are dear as their own life, this their mind are your blessed abode. Nay, those to whom, my dear, you are once master and the companion, father and the mother, preceptor and the everything. It is the temple of their mind, and Sita and your two brothers should reside. Those who overtook others' faults and pick out their virtues and endure hardship for the sake of the Brahmins and cows, nay, who have established their reputation in the world as well versed in the law of property, their mind is your excellent abode. Again, he who attributes his virtue to you and holds himself responsible for his faults, nay, who entirely depends on you and love Sri Rama, your devotee, it is in heart that you should stay along with Vidya's daughter, he who, renouncing his caste and kinsman's wealth, faith, and glory, his near and dear ones, his happy home, and everything has cherished you in his bosom. In his heart, you should take up your residence, O Lord of Raghu. Again, he to whom heaven and hell and even freedom from birth and death are the same, inasmuch as behold your art with the bow and arrow here, there, and everywhere, and who is your servant in thoughts, words, and deed, make his heart, O Rama, your permanent abode. Lastly, he who never wants anything and be a natural affinity to you, incessantly dwell in his mind, for that is your own home. Lebanon Sheikh Valmiki thus shown him with many a dwelling place, and his loving words gladdened Sri Rama's soul. Listen, O Lord of the solar rays, the Sheikh continue. I now tell you a retreat that will be delightful in the existing circumstances. Take up your abode in the Chitrakuta hill. There you will have all facilities. Charming is the hill and lovely the forest, which is the haunt of the elephants, lions, and deer, as well as the of birds. It has a holy river glorified in the Puranas, which was bought by the Sikh Atri wife by dint of her penis. It is side stream of Ganga and is known by the name of Mandakini, which is quick to destroy sin even as a witch strangle infants. Many great Sikhs like Atri dwell there, practicing yoga and muttering seconds for Buddha and washing their body with penis. Wend your way thither, Rama, and reward the labor of all, conferring dignity on their great mountain as well. The great Sheikh Valmiki then described at length the infinite glory of Chitrakuta, and the two brothers proceeded with Sita and bathed in the sacred stream. ShriRama, the chief of Raghuline, said, Lakshmana, there is a good descent into the river. Now make arrangement for our stay somewhere. Lakshmana presently surveyed the north bank of Payaswini river and said, Lo, a rivulets band round their bank, like go with the river itself for its strength, control of mind and sense, and charity for its arrow, and all the sins of the Kali Ish for its many queries. Armed with the bow, Mount Chitrakuta looks like an immovable huntsman who takes unerring aim and make a frontal attack. With these words, Lakshmana showed the spot, and Sri Rama was delightful to see the sight. When the god learned that the sight has captivated Sri Rama's mind, they proceeded to Chitrakuta with Vishwakarma, the chief of heavenly architect. They all came in views of the Kolas and Bhilas and put up beautiful dwelling of leaves and grass. They made a pair of huts which were lovely beyond words. The one a fine little cottage, and the other larger in size. Adoring the beautiful cottage with Lakshmana and the Janka's daughter, the Lord looked as charming as the god of love, accompanied by his consort Rati and the deity presiding over spring, the king of the season, all attired as hermit deity and the deity means what you mean by the deity presiding over the spring. Deity means a god or goddess. God is a divine status, presiding over spring, and the deity, divine status, quality or nature, divine status, presiding over the spring, divine status, attired in hermit, deity presiding over spring, deity means divine status, divine status, divine status, holding a position of authority in a meeting or other gathering, holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering is called presiding. Holding the position of authority in the meeting or the other gathering is called authority. Holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering is called authority. Overspring the king, all attired as hermits. All 17 for the 30 days recitation. Citing means holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering. Holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering. Holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering. Holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering. Holding a position of authority in meeting and other gathering is called authority. Holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering. Putting the shame by their comeliness. Holding a position of authority in meeting or other gathering. Putting to shame by their comeliness. Millions of people tell us of your lady. How stand they to you? Hearing the loving and the sweet word, Sita felt abashed and smiled within herself. Looking at them the first instant, she then cast her eyes toward the earth. The fair complexioned lady felt a twofold delicacy with a voice sweet as a note of the cuckoo. The fond-eyed princess bashfully replied, loving and the sweet accent, the one who is artless in manner and has a fair and the graceful form is called Lakshmana and is my younger brother-in-law. Again, raising her moon-like face with an end of her sari, she looked at her beloved lord and then bending her eyebrow and casting a sidelong glance with her beautiful eyes and resembled the Khajana birds, the species of the wagtail in the quick movement. She indicated to them by the sight that he was her husband. All the village women were as delighted as copper that has been allowed free access to the whole of the races. Falling at the Sita's feet in great love, they invoked upon her many blessings and said, "May you ever enjoy a happy married life so long as the earth rests on the head of the serpent gods." Happy be as dear to your Lord as Parvati to Shiva, yet she is not be kind to us, O good lady. Again and again we pray with joint palm, should you return by their very route, allow us to see you, remembering us your handmaid. Sita found them all athirst with love and comforted them with many soothing words, even as the lilies are refreshed by the moonlight. Presently reading ShriRama's mind, Lakshmana gently asked the villagers about the road they should take reading reading the moment they heard this the villagers both man and the woman become sad and thrill rain through their body and tears rushed to their eyes their joy disappeared and they felt distressed at heart as though God was snatching back the treasure he had bestowed upon them. Reflecting on the ways of faith they took courage and fixing upon the exit road they gave it out of him. Accompanied by the Lakshman Chinta's Lord Mohan then proceeded on his ways. As people tried to follow him, he sent back all his soothing words, so he took their hearts with him. While returning to their home, the villagers, men and women alike, grievously lamented and blamed Providence in this heart